Hi, I'm Claire Tompkins, the Clutter Coach, and this is the Organize Your Life podcast. I am passionate about organizing because it makes my clients' lives so much easier, more relaxed, and with more time to spend the way they want to. That's what organizing is all about, not about being neat or having the right containers. It's about getting more time for what matters to you. My specialty is chunking down this big topic so it's not overwhelming. That's the concept behind my book, 5 Minutes to a Relaxing Bedroom. And that's the concept for this podcast, too, which is based on my first book, 52 Simple Ways to Get Organized. Both books are available on my website and on Amazon. I work with clients in person in the Berkeley, California area and via email and Skype, so you don't have to be local to work with me. With my help, your home will become a place you love and welcome guests into. Your office will be a place for being energized and productive. Visit the Hire tab on my website or email me at claire@cluttercoach.net. In every podcast, I'll lay out a simple organizing concept and tell you why it's important. And I'll include an action step at the end so you can start practicing right away. Okay, here we go. Today's podcast is not based on my book, and if you're listening out of order, it's Thanksgiving week here in the U.S. If you're at work this week and you find yourself with light duty because of the coming holiday, this podcast is for you. I call it the end of the year wrap-up. Getting real work done when everyone's got holiday-itis is a challenge. Kind of like the last few months of senior year when you were in high school. All the papers, all the exams were over. For practical purposes, since your grade's already in the can, you're just biding time till summer and then college. You've been listening to those teachers for 4 solid years and you're just over it. But you're not playing hooky. You're there at the office, so let's do something constructive. What I suggest is taking care of some routine, year-end tasks that you'll be really happy you tackled sooner rather than later. These are things you don't often find time for when work is going at its regular pace, not to mention when it gets busy. So when things are slow, seize that time. Here are some simple tasks you can tackle before the big T-Day. First, take some time to purge your email inbox. If you're familiar with Merlin Mann's concept of inbox zero, this does not really mean getting rid of everything in there, although that's not a terrible idea. What you want to do is make sure there are no reminders for projects or tasks that you need to do lurking in there. Do not use it as your to-do list. People often use the inbox as a virtual to-do list. They flag messages or route them to folders to be handled later. The problem with this is that the important messages are still mixed in with the rest of the flotsam, or they're hidden in folders that you're not looking at regularly. Note, there is no point in making a folder to store things in if you're never going to look inside again. That is hoarding, not storing. The problem with this is something that will be familiar to GTD fans. These buried to-dos are taking up space in your inbox and they are skulking around in the back of your mind, waiting to jump out at you when you're trying to fall asleep at night. Any tasks, any actions you need to do need to be extracted from email and put onto a to-do list or added to a project, however you're storing that information. In podcast 28, I delved into to-do lists a bit, and I plan to talk more about that in future episodes. For now, just make sure you're recording your tasks and projects either in a paper notebook that you won't lose track of, or in a digital system that works for you. As I mentioned in podcast 19, there are various ways to find what needs to be purged from your inbox. If you're feeling brave, you could decide that anything over 6 months old is just going out. A less radical approach is to sort your inbox by sender. That way you'll have groups of emails that can be eliminated in one fell swoop. Try the same thing sorting by topic. You'll often find many emails back and forth about a long ago completed project. They were critical when you were working on the project, but now they're unnecessary. They're just clutter. Idea 2 is to do a similar purge on your paper files. Projects tend to accumulate paper, even though we don't want them to. It's necessary reference material when the project is in progress. Once it's over, most of it can go out. It's great to get into the habit of doing this whenever you finish a project. Otherwise, you dive right into the next project and end up sticking that folder into the file cabinet where it does nothing but take up space. Generally, don't keep documents that are on your computer and backed up, because you can always print them out again. Don't keep meeting agendas, first drafts, rough drafts, telephone message slips. Yes, some of my clients still use those. Make sure there aren't any lingering to-dos that need to be recorded elsewhere in that project file. And then you're ready to put it in the file cabinet. Idea number 3 is to file anything else that's been piling up somewhere waiting. Of course, first go through the pile and make sure you actually need to keep any of those items. Just like with the project folders, your filing box will be peppered with items that were important at the time, but that you just don't need anymore, so don't file them. As you're doing these 3 tasks, keep an eye out for other loose ends that should be tied up. Some of those emails may remind you of people that you never got back to, and also for ideas about the new year, what to follow up on or start on. Your task this week? Well, you may not have time to tackle all 3 of these tasks. Pick the one that will give you the most bang for the buck, the one that's bugging you the most. Then spend 20 minutes on it. Repeat as time allows. And have a great holiday. Hey, thanks for listening. I'm Claire Tompkins, the Clutter Coach. If you like the show, I'd love it if you'd leave a rating and review in iTunes. You can subscribe, too, so the podcast will be ready and waiting for you to listen to. The show is available on SoundCloud and Stitcher as well. You'll find the show notes on my blog at www.cluttercoach.net, and you can check out my store to find books I've written and books and products I recommend, and some freebies, too. I work with folks in their homes and offices to bust clutter and get them organized so they can stay that way easily. Get in touch and find out how I can help you. I'm in Berkeley, California, and you can reach me at claire@cluttercoach.net. Come back for more next week.